Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, guys. I want to talk about a developing story that's really shaking up not just the NFC East, but the entire league. It's something that could redefine how the Washington Commanders approach their future, and it involves one of the most talked-about players in the league right now, Maxx Crosby. Yes, the Raiders' pass rusher who's been a dominant force since he entered the league. But what's really fascinating is the potential trade that's swirling around him, and how it could dramatically alter the landscape for both teams involved. So let's dive deep into what's happening, why it matters so much for the Commanders, and what this could mean moving forward. To give you some context, the Raiders, sitting with a 2-5 record, are really in a rebuild mode right now. Their defense, which historically has been a bit leaky, especially against the run, is ranked 28th in sacks per game with just about 1.9. That's quite low, especially considering Crosby's reputation as one of the premier edge rushers in the league. This season, Crosby has been pretty solid. He's got 5 sacks, 22 pressures, and a win rate of around 24%. His EPA per sack is 34, which isn't eye-popping, but it's certainly respectable. He's also got 4 forced fumbles this season, showing his knack for making game-changing plays. And importantly, Crosby has no injury concerns so far in 2025, and his snap count has been high, around 94%. His PFF grade of 92. One against the Chiefs proves he's still at the top of his game. Crosby is a Pro Bowler from 2021 through 2024, and over his career he's accumulated more than 62. 5 sacks along with 128 quarterback hits. That's a level of production that any team would dream of, especially considering his age, just 28. Now this season, he's projected to hit 16+ sacks if he stays healthy, which would push his career total well above 70. That kind of production can elevate a defense from good to elite in a heartbeat. Remember, the Raiders are rebuilding, with Antonio Pierce now at the helm, and they're prioritizing acquiring draft picks, especially for their quarterback position. Their cap space is around $18 million, which they could use to extend some offensive linemen or other key players, but their focus seems to be on acquiring draft capital for a rebuild. And that's where the story gets interesting. Rumors from ESPN sources suggest the Raiders are considering trading Maxx Crosby to the Washington Commanders in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. Now, this isn't just speculation. The Raiders are under pressure to make moves before the trade deadline, which is coming up on November 4th. They're reportedly skeptical about Crosby's window, especially with his age, and are looking for a big return, something that can accelerate their rebuild. The odds of this happening are quite high, with some reports placing the trade odds at +15-0, but recent betting lines have shifted to around +3-500, indicating a rising possibility that Crosby could become a Commander sooner rather than later. Why would the Commanders be interested? Well, folks, we all know how much they need an elite pass rusher. Currently, Washington is ranked 25th in pressure rate, averaging just 2-3 sacks per game. That's not enough in today's NFL, especially if they want to compete for the playoffs and beyond. Adding Crosby could immediately boost their pass rush by over 20%, and with Jonathan Allen already providing interior pressure, he's got 5 sacks so far, Crosby would complement that perfectly. Imagine a front seven with Crosby, Allen, and others creating constant pressure, forcing turnovers and collapsing pockets. That's the recipe for a dominant defense, and with Crosby's experience and talent, he could be the X factor that elevates the Commanders' entire team. This season, Washington's defense is also creating about 1.4 turnovers per game. A decent number, but one that could be significantly improved with a game-changer like Crosby in the mix. His ability to pressure the quarterback and force fumbles is well documented. And it's not just about sacks. It's about disrupting the entire offensive rhythm, forcing mistakes, and creating scoring opportunities for the offense. With the Commanders' offensive weapons, they could turn those turnovers into points and really push their chances of contending deep into the playoffs. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The NFC East is a highly competitive division, with teams like the Eagles and the Cowboys fighting for supremacy. The Eagles, for example, have one of the most aggressive defenses in the league, led by players like Reddick, who's already racked up 16 pressures this season. The Cowboys, meanwhile, have a solid defense, but they're not quite as dominant as last year. The Commanders, in this scenario, need to make a statement, and acquiring Crosby could be that statement. It's about building a top-tier defense that can consistently pressure the quarterback and shut down even the most potent offenses. And if we look at the numbers, Crosby's impact could be transformative for the Commanders. His projected 16-plus sacks this season would put him among the league leaders, and with the defense already showing signs of improvement, adding such an elite pass rusher could push them from the middle of the pack to top-tier contenders. Plus, Crosby has proven he can perform in clutch moments. Think about the playoff potential. If he joins Washington, he could be the difference maker in crucial games, especially in high-pressure situations where his pass-rushing skills shine. The trade market is heating up, and the odds of Crosby ending up in Washington are increasing. The team's management has to decide if they want to push all in now or wait for a different approach. But with the deadline looming, this could be one of the most exciting moves in recent NFL history, especially for us Commanders fans who are always looking for that edge to reach the Super Bowl again. Crosby's addition would send a message to the entire league. Washington is serious about contending, and they're not afraid to make bold moves to get there. It would also send a signal to division rivals that the Commanders are ready to challenge for NFC supremacy. And speaking of the NFC East, let's not forget how this division has evolved over the last few seasons. The Eagles, who have been dominant lately, are still a formidable force, but with a major pass rusher like Crosby, the Commanders could finally get over that hurdle. The Cowboys, known for their disciplined defense, could see their defensive line challenged in new ways. It's all about that strategic move, that game-changing acquisition that could tip the scales in Washington's favor. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, is Crosby really the right fit? Well, considering his track record and current season performance, there's no doubt he still has plenty left in the tank. His production this year is on pace for a career high, and his ability to generate pressure, force turnovers, and be a clutch performer makes him one of the most valuable assets on the trade block right now. And let's be honest, guys, the NFL is all about stars. Players who can change the outcome of games with a single play. Crosby is exactly that kind of player, and for a team like Washington that's been looking to elevate its defense for years, he could be the final piece to that puzzle. This potential trade also raises questions about the Raiders' future. With a rebuild underway, they're looking to accumulate draft picks and reset their roster. Moving Crosby would bring in a first-round pick in 2026, which could be crucial for selecting a franchise quarterback or other key players. For the Raiders, it's about building for the future, and sometimes that means making tough decisions in the present. For the Commanders, it's about seizing the moment and grabbing an elite talent to push their Super Bowl aspirations even further. Looking ahead, if this trade goes through, it could reshape the entire NFC playoff picture. A defense with Crosby, combined with the existing talent in Washington, would be scary for any offense. It's about creating a relentless pass rush, forcing mistakes, and turning those opportunities into points. And when you look at the numbers, the projection is clear. Adding Crosby could push the Commanders' sack total well above 45, making them one of the most feared defenses in the league. That kind of pressure can be the difference in the playoffs, where every possession matters and turnovers can swing the game. And let's not forget the importance of leadership and experience. Crosby, with his playoff experience and reputation as a clutch performer, would bring intangibles that go beyond the stats. He's a guy who rises to the occasion, especially in big moments. That's exactly the kind of player that can elevate a team's mentality and push everyone to perform at their best. For a team like Washington, still hungry to get back to the promised land, adding Crosby could be the spark they need to finally take that leap. Now I want to hear from you, my fellow Commanders fans. What do you think about this potential move? Are you excited about the possibility of Crosby donning the burgundy and gold? Do you believe this could be the piece that finally pushes Washington over the top? Or do you think the team should wait for a different strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and all the latest news about the Washington Commanders. So, stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting our team because big things are on the horizon. The NFC East is about to get even more interesting, and Washington is ready to make some noise. Thanks for being with me today, and as always, let's keep that fan spirit alive. And now, Washington Commanders FANS, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and TO, the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.